Welcome everyone to today's video. We're the Dimitrov Boulay Piano Duo. My name is Dimitri Dimitrov.
My name is Elvira Boulay.
And in today's video, we were talking with Elvira what shall we talk to you about. And we thought that it might be a good idea to talk a little bit about jumps. Now, when I say jumps, jumps in general occur not only in fast music, but also in slower music. What a jump would mean would be that you have to get from one place on the keyboard to the other, and you have to do it on time. And depending on the tempo, sometimes it can be slower and sometimes it can be faster. But nevertheless, when you have to move from one place to the other, that we consider a jump. And why I'm saying this is because depending on your level, there are people who are beginners and they will have to do some little jumps. Then there are people who are a little bit more advanced, they'll have to do some other jumps. And the more advanced you get and the faster pieces you play, of course, then you have to also do jumps in combination with speed.
And we've been seeing a lot of advice out there on the internet. I mean, it's a great thing that we can have a lot of information on the internet, but from the other side, we've also seen a lot of bad advice out there about jumps. So we thought that we would give our top tips on what to do and maybe mention what definitely not to do when you're trying to conquer whatever level jump you're at.
Now I've looked at I was thinking which pieces to show you, and I just opened two books and I thought, oh, here I have, that is definitely can be considered a jump. We have in Schubert, I need to practice that. So these are actually jumps. Now, while for me, that might be not a special jump, a jump that I need to really practice, there are people out there that need to practice this jump, and it is considered a jump because you have to move from one place to the other. Later in this impromptu, instead of a single note, you're going to have also octaves. Right? If I play actually the bar before, that's even better. That's an octave. I think later even in the piece you get also some other jumps. For example, this part is beautiful. Now, without complicating anything further, I've seen an advice that's been given on the internet that when you make a jump, you have to arrive at the note from any given place, from your lap, like for example, or while you're playing, that you have to arrive on the key without preparing, actually, directly hitting the key, right? And that's really something that you should not do. That's exactly the opposite of what good piano technique is. You should never arrive on a jump, you should never arrive on a note, on a key, without preparing first. So that's definitely a don't, and you should not do that. Now, preparing from your lap, I actually like the idea and I find it very creative, because what you can do is you can move your hands to the note that you need to play and find it quickly. But now I'm going to explain how you should do that. So you should never make a jump and hit the key right away. Well, here's the secret word, hit. If you are to play and move and hit the key, first of all, there will be noise that's coming from your finger hitting the key instead of arriving on the key, which I'm going to get to in a second. So when you move and directly hit the key, there is going to be noise mixed with the sound. Plus, it is a very risky business to just jump and hit a key without preparing. Now, you might say, well, if I practice, then that risk is going to be decreased. Yes, but you are never going to be able then to produce the sound quality that you need to get out of that key that you're jumping into. For example, if you look into this part, I really want a specific sound on the next chord. So if I jump, maybe it will come too loud, maybe it will come too soft. So you might say, with practice, I still can get it without preparation. Yes, you can. You will never be able to get the exact sound that you want. So you should never not prepare for jumps, but jump and directly hit the keys. That's absolutely the wrong technique. There is no professor that I've met in my career, in my education, that taught me just jump on the key and hit it right away from the sky. And so it doesn't matter if the piece is faster or slower. In the beginning, the piece is a little bit more relaxed, so you have time. Here it gets a little bit more agitated. Right, it's a little bit uncomfortable to play there, but it's your fault. And then you have other jumps, but I will just demonstrate them with the tip I'm going to give you right now. So now you know what you shouldn't do. Do not please exercise jumps that way. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, how you should prepare for jumps and how you should practice jumps. It's exactly the opposite. Your hand needs to arrive, or more precisely, your finger needs to arrive at the key that you are going to play before you play that key. It's that simple. So for example, with the simple example that I gave with Schubert, what you have to do, I will even demonstrate only the left hand so it's easy for you. You see, my hand, you can see on the camera above, my finger is already on the D. My key is already on the C. My finger is already on the F. The wrong technique would be...
I can imagine that's difficult to do. That's very out of your habits.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
It's really weird to do. And so the appropriate technique is prepare, play. Prepare, play. Now you might think, well, will I be able to play on time? Yes, you will be able to play on time because you need to be extremely fast in the way that you prepare.
You have to train that as well. You have to train specifically to be as fast as possible. Take all the time you want after that to play the note, but get into your habit that you always, the jump itself, that you jump very quickly and that you prepare your finger on the key very quickly. It's actually, just to be honest with you, it's actually one of the very first things I learned in the conservatory when I started studying piano. It's one of the very first things that my professor taught me is how to prepare for jumps in this way.
Yeah, and this is a very simple example for me, but like I've played pieces that are incredibly difficult. I've played, for example, I don't know if you're familiar with the piece Stravinsky Petrushka from the ballet. You have jumps with both hands, on both ends of the piano and in the middle, and that goes extremely fast. And exactly my professor, what she told me is you have to be able to get to the key before you even have to play the key. Of course, there is more or less sometimes that you are not completely there, but that's the idea, because when it's extremely fast, already this idea becomes you're barely there or you're just touching the key and then you already have to play it, but you have control over the sound. You can produce the sound that you want, and you also have the safety of playing the right notes. And so this is really a very good way to be quick and have a wonderful sound while you're playing. Because if you observe my hands from above, if you observe my hands from the camera above, you will see how my left hand behaves. Look, even the jump between the B flat and the D, because that's also a jump, look what my hand is doing. My hand is not doing, but my hand is preparing. You can see how quick my finger is to tap the key that I need to play. And believe me, if you practice like this, I have experience with my students. I taught them to do that and to not play the key, but just prepare. You can practice that with metronome. We'll make another video because this will get way too long. We'll make a video where we'll give you exactly exercises that you need to do. With this video, we wanted to let you know what's the appropriate way to prepare for jumps. You will see how much you'll benefit, how quick you will be, how efficient you'll be in your technique, how great sound you can produce, or the sound that you want to get out of the jump. So the don't prepare in the last moment. Don't throw your hand out there. From the lap, I like that one. I don't know who that was, but he said like his teacher told him to do it from his lap. And I love that, because then you can also practice to get into the key very quickly. Perhaps doesn't make much sense to do it from your lap.
It doesn't make much sense to me. I always like to teach my students to have a kind of reference to where they are at the keyboard, and if you put your hands on your lap, you kind of lose that.
Yeah, I don't know what piece are you going to play from your lap, but that's another story. I like creativity. I like thinking of exercises. Wonderful. I can understand from your lap to finding a key very quickly. Sure, do it, but don't do it the wrong way by hitting the key out of nowhere. And the way to do it is always arrive at the key before you play it. You will see what great skills you're going to develop in general with jumps.
Now, we were just talking this morning about that we'll talk about jumps today, and I was thinking myself, what kind of tips would I give for jumps? And I basically think that what we've just talked about is the only thing you need. But of course, there's always more tips to give that will be useful. And I think the most useful that I can think about right now is learn your, in this case, whatever hand is playing the jumps, learn it by heart. Because otherwise you have two actions going on. The first actions is reading what are you jumping to, and then the second is to actually find your note on the keyboard. And I see a lot of my students struggling with that, because they first have to look at the score and then they have to look at the keyboard. So I think that you should absolutely, when you have a piece with a lot of jumps, and I'm thinking about Chopin nocturnes, Chopin valses, you know, if you're a big Chopin lover, you're going to meet jumps really very often. So make it a habit that as soon as you're more or less comfortable with the notes, and very often these jumps would be in the left hand, with the pieces I just mentioned, make it a habit to just, be disciplined and just learn your left hand by heart immediately. You'll remove one of the steps, you'll remove the searching of what note it is, you remove also looking at the score, and you can directly just immediately concentrate on looking for your note and finding it on the keyboard. So I think that if you train now, you know what the right technique is, and if you immediately get the habit of learning it by heart, you are going to conquer your jumps so much faster.
If you cannot, let's say that you have trouble learning, because we have students that find it difficult to learn pieces by heart, then perhaps you can learn part of the left hand.
You don't have
you
to
look for the chords maybe, or something that's going to help make you a little bit more at ease with the reading, because I like this, what you're saying, that when you're at ease with reading, you'll be able then to concentrate on what do you do with the jumps. I like this one.
You remove one of the challenges, because jumps are challenge enough.
And I think what would be really great, that we really soon create a video with exact exercises for this sort of technique. Because this was more of a video now that's informative, just to know what's the right. But
let us know if that's something you like. Let us know in the comments below. Let us know also if there's any jumps you're struggling with.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us if you want to see a video, and even if you don't want to see a video, we'll make a video with tips, with exact exercises that you can do. But I think this is good enough for you to know that you have to prepare in advance and not in the last moment, because I think good advice should come on the internet as well, from people who studied and who are professional, and tips and advices that you really can benefit from and learn proper technique. Something else that we want to share?
I think that's it.
Hopefully you didn't fall asleep already with this wonderfully long video, but I truly enjoyed myself, and it's your own business if you're going to continue lending the wrong keys. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. For us, it was a great pleasure, and want or not, you will see us next week again.